Greetings, hello, hi, wonderful viewers. I was gonna do a video with the kids today, but you know what? That'll wait until either tomorrow or when we get home. So the idea being myself and my family and the kids talking about Disneyland. But since the kids are gonna do a video, we're all gonna talk about Disneyland. I haven't even asked the kids, but I know they're gonna want to. I wanted to talk a bit about myself as an adult and what I'm enjoying about it. Now, first off, I'm wearing a Rise of the Resistance shirt, which has the Rebel logo. I know, it's called the Resistance logo. What are you going to do? It's the Rebel logo. And I got a couple of pins. I'm not as into pin trading as the rest of the family is. But I picked a couple up today. So this one here, this is Batu, which is the name of the Galaxy's Edge land that you're in. So you're on. They make it so it's another planet, Batu, and there's the Sith Legion. So the stormtroopers that walk around, they are First Order, and one thing you notice in Star Wars land is nobody's ever out of character, which is normal with Disneyland. Nobody's ever out of character. It's not like anybody in a Mickey suit actually says, "All right, kid, I've had enough of your crap. Just knock it off." And I'm sure that people in Mickey suits want to. Now, I'm going to apologize for having the odd drink here and there because I'm mildly dehydrated. So I'm walking around today. Only 7,300 steps so far. And that's only because we didn't actually go in the park today. We just went to downtown Disney. And I picked these up. And I picked up the pin of the Sith Legion because it's limited edition. So since it's limited edition and all that. And, you know, Yvonne and the kids have pins, and they've given me some of theirs because they want me to start collecting pins, which is nice. I've got, of course, my Rise of the Resistance hat. And then I picked this up, too. Now, what's nice with this is that it's old Canuck colors. So for me, a Vancouver Canucks fan, it's kind of nice. And there it says Sith Trooper. There's some string, just a thread or whatever. And then on the back, really, really awesome Trooper image there. So I haven't really bought that much, other than, you know, of course I got the custom lightsaber, and I did that because I said, all right, you know, I could probably nickel and dime. I could get one of the cheap ones, but you know, I'll get one of the nice ones. And then what I did too, so if you come down to Disney and you get this giant lightsaber, which is not easily broken down, and you think to yourself, hey, I'm getting on a plane to go home. And I said to Yvonne right away while I was carrying it around, I said, I don't want, even if I can find a way to break this down and get it into my check luggage, I don't want that. I want to make sure that this is going to be in good condition for the ride home. So what they did was they agreed to ship it. Now, we paid the shipping, but they're shipping it for us. So I think that's nice. It's a service that they provide. And they talk about it. They have notices up around the store. Now, what's interesting is I got it in Star Wars Land, so on Batu. And the store that was agreeing to ship it for me is in Tomorrowland. So I carried it around for a while. I did the Thunder Railroad too. I didn't like that. See, the one thing for me with rides, it's not fear. I mean, do I get scared? Yeah, that's kind of what those rides are supposed to do. But I have a stomach that if it's a massive sort of swinging around one way or the other, and then a big drop, and then you bank right and you bank left, I'm throwing up all over the place. So when we got off of that ride, I was dry heaving for about 10 minutes after. It was bad, and it was one of those things where I thought, you know, if I really focus on it, I can probably throw up right now. But considering I had a foot-long hot dog with bacon and macaroni and cheese on it, I had to try it, right? And I had, what else did I have at that same time? I had a churro not long after. So that was my food of the day, and I thought, I don't want to see or feel what that's going to be like coming up. I don't think that would be pleasant. I learned years ago that if you get sick to your stomach and you throw up, hot dogs are like the worst. They're just awful. I went years without eating them after that. So yeah, that was shocking. And the thing with that was that Yvonne had been on that ride before, and she said it's not that bad. You're not going to get shaken around too much. It's not the speed. It's not the speed. It's that bank. It's that fact that and then my stomach goes, all right, well, I'm leaving. So just so you know, I've decided I've had enough. I've always had that balance issue, and I guess it's vertigo. I guess that's the best way to describe it. We did the Cars ride the day before in California Adventure, and that was fun. I really enjoyed that one a lot. That one was a lot of fun. It does a little bit of shaking you around, but not much. And we did Rise of the Resistance last night. I could not wear a Rise of the Resistance shirt if I had not been on the ride. The most fantastic experience I've ever had. And I now understand why people say it's not really a ride, it's an experience. And it's true. It is a ride. The ride part is maybe 4 minutes, maybe 3.5, but even when you're queuing up and you're getting ready to go into this ride, you're getting further and further into the world of Star Wars. And the Smuggler's Run, I think it's called, the Millennium Falcon one, is much the same. Whereas you're queuing up, you're getting further and further into the world of Star Wars. That was fun. Adelaide wasn't a big fan, but I'm trying to talk her into doing it again tomorrow. I at least want to do that one tomorrow. We'll try to get into the Rise of the Resistance again. And we're going to try to put her into not the front row, but the second row. And hopefully that helps for her. I think being in the front row made it worse. We did Soarin. Soarin was great. If you want something that's kind of mildly nauseating, but not too bad. Soarin isn't bad. And again, this is coming from a guy with a definitely a nervous stomach, where it's easy for me to go. And my stomach just left. It's behind me here. So I'm probably going to want to go back and get that. But yeah, Soarin was great. The funny part of that was that I'm sitting next to my wife. My wife's talking to her daughter, and she's telling her, it's okay, Adelaide. This is fine. We're not actually off the ground. We're okay. She's squeezing my hand so hard she's almost breaking it because she's terrified. And I just started laughing. She's like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, this is really funny. I'm glad you're reassuring her and breaking my hand. It was great because you feel like you are flying over all of these worlds, landmarks, and all of these beautiful things. The only one that I was like, really, was the Taj Mahal. And I say that because to me it looked different than the other images and videos I've seen of Taj Mahal, and I thought, now is that the real deal, or is this a computer simulation? If the whole thing is CGI, it's done very, very well. I don't see how it would all be CGI. But to me, the Taj Mahal seemed, I don't know if too clean, too crisp. There was something just, it felt a little bit. I've talked about this with movies before, where there's times where you're watching a show and you go, that doesn't look right. And that's kind of how I felt with the Taj Mahal. Everything else looked great. And I'm not saying it didn't look great. It just seemed too perfect. I don't know. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. So I'm going to go back to the Star Wars land part, because of course that is what everybody's going to right now. If you're planning a trip to Disneyland and you want to do the Star Wars stuff, it's tricky. Getting in is tricky, and you're looking at probably a 30-minute wait at least. Now, if it was 30 minutes that we waited for the Millennium Falcon ride, which it said it was, it didn't feel like 30 minutes. So some of the queues around here are boring. Some of them are just a bunch of backtracking, and you're just stuck queuing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And you're not really moving anywhere. It's just they make sure they can get a maximum amount of people into a small area. The Star Wars one's not so much. The other thing, too, with Rise of the Resistance is there's a moment in this adventure where you're outside. And it's weird, because you're like, okay, you got to go from point A to point B. I'm not ruining for people who haven't been on the ride. But you're going from point A to point B, and you go, I'm outside. And I even said that to Ivana. I said, we're outside. Where are we? And I saw these landmarks, and I'm like, wait, are we near? And before I could really think about it, we're in this other vehicle. And then that door opens, and you're like, okay, now we're somewhere else. And it's really immersive. Really, really, really immersive. And I think that was my favorite part of it. So Okay, so I'm trying to film this as if I'm talking to people who haven't been to Disneyland. Now, if you don't have kids or you're not planning on bringing kids down, there's a lot to do. Yvonne and I are already talking about making some changes. So we're going to Vegas in March, which is set in stone. Everything's planned. But I told her this would be a great trip for just the two of us. At some point in time, just the two of us come down here, and we could really have a good time, just the two of us. Because then we could go to the rides we want to. We wouldn't have to deal with the nagging. It's a lot of nagging. Uh, of the three kids, there's one that's constantly asking what time it is and why we're not going to this ride or that ride. Or, oh, if we want to do that ride, we have to go there now. And it's like, yeah, we know. You've got another one who's trying to plan absolutely everything out to the last minute. And then a third who's just, I don't know, whiny. And then, in that case, she's young. So, giving it away who it is. But she wants to do the same rides over and over again. And it's the really, really, really gentle ones, which I get. But if I have to do Small World again, I'm going to lose my mind. I cannot understand why Small World... I can't understand why people would go on that more than once. Even being within even being within hearing distance of it, and the music's loud. It just makes me crazy. It's one of those things that makes me crazy. So I think that one's in Fantasyland. Maybe stay out of Fantasyland if you're an adult without kids, and yet don't, because there's still some fun rides. Because what's interesting to me is you've got like Star Tours, which has about a 15-20 minute wait most times that I've seen down here. And again, don't take what I'm saying for at times as gospel. I'm just using one experience, which is mine this week. And of course, it's not a busy time of year right now. But the rides that kids really like, whether it's the Winnie Pooh ride or Little Mermaid, there's no wait. You just walk in and you get on, and basically that's just where you're being taken through the story, and it's kind of interesting. Once I can do it once. Yvonne can go on them many, many times. Yvonne is the huge fan of Disney. I can do it once. I can do it once. Anything more than that, and yeah, I start kind of twitching and kind of getting antsy about it. But yeah, honestly, I'm glad we did this, and we'll see whether or not in August we decide to figure out a way to come down here. The other side of it is that we don't have kids for Christmas this coming year. So what we did for our last Christmas without kids, which was in 2018, was we went to Vegas. It might be fun to go to Disneyland for Christmas this year. That might actually be a really fun little trip to take. And we could even kind of do both, because Vegas isn't that far from Disneyland. It's a 4-hour drive. It's not a very long flight either. So there may be a way to make it so we could spend a few days in Disneyland, spend a few days in Vegas, and then fly back home. So it's a thought. It's something I'm considering. But definitely, if you don't have kids, there's a lot to do. And if you do have kids, they'll never run out of things to do. There's no running out of rides. And if you don't mind the feeling that your stomach got left behind somewhere up at the top of a ride somewhere and you're down here, then there's lots of that to go around too. Again, I've enjoyed it. The one roller coaster-ish type experience I had with the railroad ride. No, that's all I said when I got off of it too, was no. Never again. No. Nope. And then I started heaving, which is... That's what you want. That's what you want. And I kept thinking of Roller Coaster Tycoon. And believe me, standing in lines and queuing up, I kept thinking of Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like, okay, whoever designed this park designed the game. There's a lot of things in Roller Coaster Tycoon that really do exist in Disneyland. And the way that queues work and the thought process, too, is true. Like, I remember watching people on Roller Coaster Tycoon, and there was nothing much more fun than actually clicking on a guest and following them. And then we get on a ride, and you'd see them going, this is boring. I wish I was doing something else. You'd be like, then why did you get on that ride? Done that now. Or I'm on a ride, and I'm like, man, this is boring. but it's there, so you jump on it. So yeah, that happens. That absolutely happens. So I'm very happy. I know the kids are as well. We've got a meetup of sorts tonight, and then we're going to a hockey game tonight, and then tomorrow we go to Disney, and then Friday we fly out. So if I can find time to have the kids in front of the camera, and we'll discuss the Disney experience, we'll do that. Now that I've discussed my experience, I don't feel like I need to discuss it very much the next time around when we talk about this. And yeah, honestly, it is a lot of fun. There is a lot to do for adults, and I did my best not to get drained too much. And I know that the lightsaber is pricey, but it's metal. It'll last forever, and I got a custom lightsaber made. It's got a purple blade, it's a purple kyber crystal in it, and it's gonna last for forever. I chose the old. If you've done it, I chose the old one that's got like the gold accents on it. That it's like Knights of the Old Republic design. So I didn't pick the Vader one. I didn't pick like something that you could do like a Kylo Ren lightsaber. I thought, nah. I went with Old Republic. So there's something for everybody. There really is. You can get a green lightsaber, a blue one, a red one, or a purple one. So of course I went with purple. I thought, well, all I keep seeing at the park is people with green ones and blue ones, and I thought it'd be nice to have a purple one. And not only that, but when we're at home and when I go out on Halloween as a Jedi, and you know I will, the purple one would be excellent. Now, for people thinking, wait, doesn't that mean you have to go out as Mace Windu? Nah, I can create my own Jedi and just confuse people, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to create my own Jedi. All right, there you go. Disneyland and California Adventure, and I will say this too: California Adventure is fun. It is not Disneyland level though when it comes to just the sheer expanse of it, but there's some fun stuff to do down on the water, and yeah, I would recommend that and all of it. It's all just great. And tomorrow we also get Magic Morning, so we get to get into the park early, which means that for my hockey videos, I'm going to need to do my preview video tonight because I don't want to have to do a video in the morning. I want to get up, get out of bed, go straight to the park, and we go straight into our Magic Morning, which the kids will try to pull us in 9 different directions and try to tell us what to do in what order. Tomorrow is an exception. Tomorrow, Yvonne and I are planning out what we're going to do when and where in order to maximize our time because we only have the 1 day left. And then we're done. And then I go back home to where it's apparently cold, and there may be some snow falling not too long after we get back. So, yay. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, I'll do a video like this with the kids. Like I said, either tomorrow, Friday. If I can find a spot in the park where there's no music, we could do it in the park itself. But that could be a challenge too. And of course, with the music, that's copyrights. Right? All right. Thanks again. I will talk to you very soon.